Ich habe da so eine ganz furchtbare Befürchtung.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ja, haben wir jetzt wirklich neu gestartet oder sind wir immer noch in der Story, die wir gerade hatten? Ich bin extrem verwirrt. Aber das liegt hauptsächlich daran, dass das Confusion-Ende war, was wir gerade gesehen haben. Die Türen sind wieder da.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Bin ich wieder in einem neuen Spiel? War das wirklich das Ende? Ich kann es kaum fassen.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Es tut mir leid, wenn ich gerade so still war, aber ich bin wirklich fürchterlich verwirrt und ich habe irgendwie... Okay, alles klar. Besenschrank.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet,
Waren wir hier drin?
but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ich bin im Besenschrank. Ich
There was
glaube...
nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
Die ist gar nicht so leer.
To still be here.
Hier sind tolle Sachen drin. Ich habe das Gefühl, das war das Confusion-Ending. Und wir sind...
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ja. Sweet FA? Was ist das?
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Ja.
Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Ich find's schön hier drin. Lass mich. Das ist alles überhaupt nicht richtig verputzt hier und Tapete hätte das auch ein bisschen vertragen
You do
können.
realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Nö, ich will hier drin bleiben. Lass mal durch zu die Tür.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Ich bin mir nicht ganz sicher. Vielleicht muss man das wirklich... Also...
Stanley was fat and ugly and really
Hey!
stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Warum beleidigst du mich denn jetzt? Nur weil ich im Besenschrank sitze?
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
Nein, ich bewege mich ja
In a
noch. Ich schaue ja
situation
immer
like
noch.
this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
Du linke Seite, du sollst mich wegräumen, bevor ich
Anyone who
verwese, ne?
happens to be nearby,
Ach nee, er ruft auch
this
schon, okay.
computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Ich habe der linken Seite Bescheid gesagt. Also bevor ich verwese, räumt sie mich weg, hat sie mir versprochen. Ein bisschen putzen kannst du danach noch, ne? Das könnte riechen. War's das jetzt mit dem Besenschrank-Dings? Ich wollte eigentlich Ich wollte wissen, ob das noch zu dem Zirkel gehört, den wir vorher hatten mit dem Confusion-Ending. Aber das sieht nicht so aus. Oder gehört der Besenschrank dazu? Das ist aber so herrlich unverwirrend. Das war einfach nur wieder seine...
Second place. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby who can handle controls too. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Ich warte erst, bis du mich wieder beleidigt hast, okay? Ich bin's, glaube ich, immer noch. Gut, wenn ich... Oh, es ist sehr heiß im Moment und das mit dem Riechen fängt auf jeden Fall schon an. So viel steht fest. Ich muss unbedingt nochmal in die Besenkammer zurück, wenn er das nächste sagt. Ah, verdammt. Sind wir eigentlich hier schon mal die Treppe runter? Ich glaube nicht. Dann machen wir das jetzt eben. Wo führt uns denn das jetzt hin? Hier ist rotes Licht. Firehose. Ist das mein Auto?
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
Nee.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
Kann nicht sein.
None of it made any logical sense.
Richtig.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
Zum
For
Beispiel?
example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Das habe ich mich
And
noch
for
nie
that
gefragt.
matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream.
I'm
What a
dreaming.
relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job.
Nein, nein.
He wasn't crazy after
Ja,
all.
ja.
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this when I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
Das macht
And
mir ein
then
bisschen
perhaps
Angst.
the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Naja, vielleicht nicht
Now the
dictating,
voice was
aber
describing
commentating.
itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Genau, du hast recht, Stimme in meinem
He closed
Kopf.
his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, It's all I want.
Nein, das ist nicht alles, was
I
ich
want
möchte.
my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Nein, nein, nein. Ich will auch mal
My
was
life
anderes
is
haben.
normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Ich bin gar nicht so okay. Ich will... Oh.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Nein.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Bitte?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay, also das Ende hat mich tatsächlich überdurchschnittlich nachdenklich gestimmt. Muss ich gestehen. Puh. Aber ich hoffe euch auch. Teilt mir eure Gedanken dazu mit. Ich versuche meine zu sammeln und vielleicht dann auch irgendwann nochmal zusammenfassend zu allen Enden, die wir erlebt haben, abzugeben.
All of his coworkers were gone. What could it mean?
Ich möchte zu diesem Ende aber noch etwas anderes tun. Denn wir standen jetzt da unten. Ich wollte nicht weitergehen, um den Monolog nicht zu unterbrechen, weil wir wollten ja hören, was er sagt. Und jetzt werden wir das nochmal tun. Und werden uns da unten nochmal genau umgucken, wenn wir die Treppe runtergehen. Das möchte ich jetzt gerne tun. Und wenn das Gleiche nochmal kommt, dann werde ich das natürlich rausschneiden.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Bis jetzt ist alles noch gleich, ne? Wir werden jetzt einfach mal hier weitergehen und mal gucken, ob sich diese Zyklen hier vielleicht nochmal massiv verändern. Bis jetzt sieht aber alles ehrlich gesagt gleich aus, ne? Füße. Alles klar. Wir hätten weitergehen müssen, um diesen Monolog zu bestätigen. Das hätten wir tun müssen. Das haben wir aber nicht. Gut, hier passiert nichts weiter. Wir starten neu. Okay, das wollte ich aber gecheckt haben, Leute. Ist ganz klar. Gut, was gibt's noch zu tun? Wir haben noch ein paar Enden, glaube ich. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Ich würde es gerne endlich rausfinden. Ja, das sehe ich auch so. So. Ich denke,
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
wir haben auf dem Hauptweg nach dem Bossbüro haben wir noch einen Weg nach links gehabt, wenn ich mich recht entsinne. Den möchte ich jetzt als nächstes ausprobieren,
Yet there was not a single person here
um zu gucken,
either.
was dort passiert.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
Bin schon
office.
unterwegs.
Coming
Diesmal
to a
kannst du mich
staircase,
auch nicht
Stanley
aufhalten.
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Wieso hat der Boss eigentlich so ein merkwürdiges Treppenhaus? Es sollte doch eigentlich ein wenig... Ist die Frage hier? Habe ich hier schon alles gesehen? Executive Bathroom. Also Chefschacht quasi auf Deutsch, ne? Haben wir hier wirklich schon alles erkundet oder gibt es hier eventuell noch eine
Stanley
Möglichkeit?
was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Ich weiß es nicht.
What
Und
he
ich
could
weiß
not
nicht, ob
have
ich
known
hier...
was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 284. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Okay, das... Wo war denn das? Hier ging doch irgendwas auf, ne? Guck mal, das hat sich ja schon teilweise verschoben. Aber dann ist er zickig
Feeling
geworden.
soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Ja, jetzt sind wir wieder da, wo wir schon mal waren. Herrlich. Da ist er ein bisschen zickig geworden, der Kerl. So, pass auf, jetzt müssen wir wieder mit dem Aufzug runterfahren. Zack. Und dann war da noch vor dem großen Monitorraum, wo wir die ersten Enden gemacht haben. Da war noch ein Gang to the left. Hallo Curly. Kommst du kuscheln? Das ist aber lieb von dir. Aber ich brauche meine linke Hand. Das ist leider kein Spiel, was ich nur mit der Maus spielen kann, Schatzi. Ich kann dich jetzt nicht schleichen. Ja, jetzt werde ich abgeschleckt. Oi, oi, oi.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself,
Ja.
to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
Ja, nee.
This question would not go unanswered for long.
Genau, weil wir werden uns jetzt die nächste Antwort suchen. Oder werden wir nur weitere Fragen finden? Da seht ihr. Escape.
This passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh. Ist es nicht so, als
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nein. Möchte ich jetzt
At this
nicht.
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward.
Ja.
And willingly
Aus freien Stücken.
confront his death.
Aus freien Stücken. Oh, ich habe ein bisschen Angst. Ist der Kuchen eine Lüge? Oh. Autsch. Ich hatte für einen kurzen Moment die Befürchtung,
As the machine whirred into
dass das
motion and Stanley was
das
inched
Ende war.
closer
Oh.
and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no
Oh.
consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real
Nein.
story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of
Das
what this world is.
setzt
Perhaps his death was of no great loss.
mich mehr unter Druck
Plucking the eyeballs from a
als die
blind.
Nummer mit der Bombe.
So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow
Da war ein Weg.
life.
Hätte ich fliehen können. Ich kann nicht hüpfen. Ich will's nicht sehen.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Dieses Spiel macht mich wahnsinnig. Dieses Spiel macht mich wahnsinnig. Wer war diese Frau? Warum bin ich da durchgefallen? Oh. Ich.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Das weiß ich nicht. Du verwirrst mich und das Ende ist genauso deprimierend wie die anderen auch. Ich gehe auf das weiße Licht zu. Oh.